As we continue in our journey through Mark, we come up to a moment in Jesus' life that describes Jesus as overwhelmed in Mark chapter 14. And it shows us precisely what Jesus did in this type of moment. And he models for us precisely what we can do too. It says this when he's with his disciples, verse 35. Going a little further, he fell to the ground and prayed that if possible, the hour might pass from him. And we even have his words as he writes this. Abba, Father, he said, everything is possible for you. Take this cup from me. Yet, not what I will, but what you will. These 4 parts to this single prayer, beginning with Abba, Father. He could have chosen a lot of other titles for God in this prayer, such as King, all-powerful one. He could have, and those would have been true, but he models right from the very start his relationship with the Father, that of being a child. Don't forget the relational access we have. Tim Keller put it this way. He said, the only one who would ever dare wake up a king at 3 a.m. for a glass of water is a child. We have that same access. We too can cry out to our Abba Father. And his next line proclaims truth to God himself and over himself. And we could proclaim this too, that God can do anything. Anything is possible. We can pray audacious prayers because anything is possible with God. And then he goes on to be really honest with precisely where he's at when he says, take this cup from me. The cup is a metaphor for God's wrath that was about to be poured out on him for all sin, for all time. And Jesus approaches his heavenly Father and requests for it to be taken. He requests for another way. If Jesus is that honest, we can be that honest too with our fears, maybe with our grief or our sorrow over the loss, over whatever you're feeling. You don't have to ignore it. Remember, this journey through Mark is coming after our series of all the things that we can bring, all the things, all the feelings, all the fears, all the anxiety, all the regret. You can bring precisely where you're at to God our Father, because he not only is our Father who cares, he's also our heavenly, powerful Father who can do absolutely anything and can handle the truth. And then Jesus finishes with this bold act of trust as he says, yet, not as I will, but as you will. An end to a prayer proclaiming trust. Friends, would you bring exactly where you're at to your heavenly Father who can do absolutely anything? And he wants to hear from you in the most honest and intimate ways. And may he lead you to a place of trust where you say, I trust you know what's best. Leave it in his hands, but make sure you bring it to his hands. Friends, we're not alone and we're invited. God our Father, he is able. You can bring it, and then you can trust him with it.